Hello and welcome, it's Terry here for Tailored Expressions. Today is all about the glitter. I created a card using the Plaid layering stencil and added Astro Paste to create a shimmering texture. So let's get started. The products that I used for this project are the Plaid layering stencil, the Take a Bow dies, Tack Stacklets 2, Jingle All The Way stamps and coordinating dies, Astro Paste in the colors Bee Sting, later Gator, and Slippery When Wet, double-sided adhesive, Pixie Spray, bits and pieces and clear drops, VersaFine Clair ink, clear embossing powder, and cardstocks and paper in the colors Black Licorice, Sugar Cube, Gold Vellum, and regular sheet of vellum. To begin, I am taping down a 6x6 black licorice cardstock down to my glass work surface. Off screen, I sprayed Pixie Spray onto the back of each of the stencils from the Plaid layering stencil set. Going in with the first layer, I aligned that down with my cardstock and placed my strong magnets to hold it in place. Using the first colors of Astro Paste, I picked up the paste with a palette knife and applying the paste onto the openings of the stencil in a downward direction. I scraped the excess off the stencil and the palette knife back into the Astro Paste jar. I removed the stencil and cleaned it off in my sink. I do recommend doing this as soon as you remove it from your card panel, as the paste can harden and ruin your stencils. I did let the panel sit out to dry before moving on to the next step. As you can see, the Astro Paste has a white casting on it when it's wet, but once it's dry, it turns completely red and sparkly. Now that it has time to dry, I am taping it back down onto my glass surface, but I did rotate the card panel 180 degrees to the left. Then I went in with the same layering stencil and aligned it to my card panel and placed my strong magnets to hold it on top. With this layer, I am going in with the Astro Paste in the color Later Gator and using the same palette knife to spread the paste in a downward direction on the openings of the stencil. The color selection I decided to use coordinates with the upcoming holiday, but I think you can use so many different color combinations to create this card for someone's birthday or baby shower. This design is so versatile. I love the shimmer from the Astro Paste. I let that sit and dry. Now it's time to use a second stencil, an Astro Paste in the color Slippery When Wet. I have already went in with one layer and gave it time to dry completely before rotating it 180 degrees to the left. Now going back in with the same second layer, I placed that back onto my card panel and applied another layer of Astro Paste. Rotating the card panel 180 degrees to the left is what is creating the plaid design. Now to work on the cute little bows. I really like how this set comes with multiple styles of bows. I ran the bow dies on gold vellum through my die cutting machine. To adhere the pieces together, I cut a little piece of double-sided adhesive and placed that on the center of the bow. I later pulled the sides of the bow to the center where I placed the tape to secure it in place. I added another piece of tape to the center of the second piece and popped the top on. I went ahead and die cut another bow out of the same gold vellum. There are also center pieces to the bows. I used liquid adhesive to place that to the center to each of the bows that were ready. Now for the sentiments. I placed sugar cube cardstock in my MISTI and stamped the sentiments from Jingle All The Way down with VersaFine Clair ink. I had to ink and stamp it a few times to make sure that I had a good impression. I later went in with my Clair embossing powder and poured that over the ink sentiments. I heat set that with my heat tool, and off screen I use the coordinating dies to cut out each sentiment. Now that the glittered card panel is fully dried, I trimmed it down to 4 by 5¼ inches. I then used the Tack Stacklets and ran that through my die cutting machine with vellum paper. I adhered the vellum tag to the card panel as well as the sentiment and bow. I used the same gold vellum sheet and trimmed it slightly larger than my card panel and adhered the card panel to the vellum. This creates a little border or mat around my card panel to help tie in all the colors. Here I decided to add a ribbon string on top of the card panel. So I gently removed the bow from my card panel and placed a skinny strip of gold vellum down the center of the card panel and popped the bow back on with foam square. I then adhered the strip of gold vellum to the back with a piece of tape. And I adhere that to a top folding card base. To finish off the card, I added bits and pieces, clear drip drops on the vellum tag. And that pretty much completes the card. I hope you found some inspiration and get crafty in your craft space. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to get notified of all future videos. Okay, until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.